Hello and welcome back to Sports in the Morning with a Cup of Joe, 2 creams and 1 sugar, Season 2.
After a long winter's break, the boys with the coffee are back.
A lot occurred over the past few weeks in sports world. We had the first college football playoff system go down. Obviously, Ohio State surprisingly shocking Oregon in a beat out of a game. It was an incredible game, and we can't be happier that the Ohio State Buckeyes represented the Big Ten well and came out with a win.
In other news, the NBA is approaching their All-Star break, and we definitely look forward to who is going to be selected for that team.
Yeah, but the main news we have for today is the Super Bowl. Today is actually a Super Bowl special. We're bringing on our football analyst, JP Georgianis, in a few minutes, and we're going to make sure that he gives us the lowdown on what we can expect from Arizona. But right now, we're sending it out to our live correspondent, Jesse Boudreau, in the halls of Nico Valley, getting what our students think is going to go down this weekend.
Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Patriots.
Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Patriots.
Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year?
I think the Seahawks are going to win.
Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year? The Seahawks. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year?
Seahawks, because they got cool colors.
Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year?
The Seahawks.
Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year?
I think that the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year.
Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year?
Go Pats! Woo!
Thanks a lot, Jesse. We are really anxious to see how this game turns out. And after this, we will be back with some JP Georgianis for some Super Bowl talk.
My name is Kevin Wolfnick, and I'm addicted to pretzels.
Alex, talk before I get introduced.
I've known Kevin for a long time, but I didn't start realizing that his pretzel eating was a problem until it was just constant, like every day.
The longest I've gone without eating pretzels is probably 2 days when I was in vacation. It was a dark place. It was really hard. I just didn't know what to do with my day without pretzels.
Well, since Kevin can never put the bag of pretzels down, he gets kicked out of the library for eating and never finishes schoolwork, and he's just addicted to those pretzels, so he's ruining all of his friendships.
I think it has made a better impact on my life because all in all, I think it gives me energy to get throughout the day. It's kind of like coffee for me.
Since Kevin started eating pretzels, he's just smelled a lot saltier, and he's just really grumpy when he doesn't have pretzels. I'm confronting Kevin about the problem, but every time I do, he's just eating pretzels, and I really don't think he can hear me.
It's easy to get addicted to anything, really, especially pretzels. They're just so good.
Me and Kevin are really good friends. It's really hard to see him go down this path. I really hope he can turn his life around soon.
Hello, and welcome back to the show.
Obviously, this coming Sunday is the 49th Super Bowl as the New England Patriots take on the defending champions, the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, it's going to be a truly great game to watch. I have been looking forward to this for the past week since the teams won in their conference championships. But Alex, who do you personally believe is going to come out on top?
You know, Evan, I know that it's definitely a toss-up and that Seattle is a very powerhouse team and that they're defending, but I can't rule out Tom Brady and the Patriots here.
I mean, I'd have to agree with you. I mean, I'm a big Tom Brady fan. He went to the University of Michigan. I'm a Michigan guy. he has been leading the league in almost every single statistic for as long as he's been in the league. He's a natural-born leader. He performs well in big games, and I'm just gonna have to say that he's gonna lead his Patriots to another Super Bowl win for him and Bill Belichick. So I'm very excited to see that. But with Legion of Boom on defense and from Seattle, you never know. I mean, Tom Brady's got his hands full there.
Definitely, definitely. I think that's a great prediction, and after this, I definitely think we all want to hear our NFL expert, JP Georgianis.
Welcome to the show, JP.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys. It's great to be back.
We got JP Georgianis from Sports Smackdown. He's coming on to join us to give us a little bit about his inside information coming up on the Super Bowl in Arizona. JP, we got a little question for you here. It's very highly anticipated this year, the Super Bowl, because the teams are such big names, with the Seahawks winning last year and New England being one of the marquee franchises in the NFL. But I want to know, what is your prediction for the game? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
Well, as a lot of people predicted, it is the Seahawks and the Patriots, as a lot of people thought would be the matchup for the Super Bowl coming into the season. So it's a really highly anticipated game, which is going to bring a lot of viewers to come out and watch the game this Sunday. And I think that just like last year, Seattle's going to walk away with the trophy. I think that in the NFL, this is a defensive-minded league because the defense wins you championships. The offense can get you there, but the defense is what's going to win you championships. And I think that behind that, the secondary that they have with those safeties, Richard Sherman, obviously, best in the league, best to do it, and they're playing out of their mind right now. Russell Wilson's going to come out and have a great game. And Marshawn Lynch, just like always, is going to run all over the defense. So I'm not saying that it's not going to be a close game because I do believe that Tom Brady is going to be Tom Brady. He's going to have a great game. Gronkowski's going to get his. LeGarrette Blount's probably going to do some damage on the ground game. But I think at the end of the day that it's going to be the Seahawks winning.
That's respectable right there. I mean, can't argue too much with that.
Definitely, definitely. And as you said, both of these teams really have high-powered offenses, and you said that defense is going to really win the game. So what defensive player do you think is going to be the wild card or the biggest impact on this game?
Biggest impact, I'm gonna go with Cam Chancellor from the Seahawks. I think he's a big playmaker, obviously the MVP of last year's Super Bowl, and he just has the ability to walk into a game and just make a big hit, take a guy out of a game, come up with a big interception, just change the game all around and bring momentum onto the Seahawks side. And I think that with injuries to Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman, that defense, they're still going to have a good game, I believe, but Cam Chancellor is the most healthy. He has proven time and time again to be one of the premier safeties in the NFL, and I think he's going to be a big game changer for them.
Yeah, Cam Chancellor and the Seahawks. JP Georgianis laying it down right here on Sports in the Morning. Well, JP, we got a different kind of question to ask you here. I'm sure you have heard, the past week it's been a little bit of a stressful yet comedic week when dealing with the inflatable football incident. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that it's impacted the Patriots at all leading up to the Super Bowl?
Here's what I think. I don't think that the Patriots are guilty of doing anything wrong. And I say that because the Patriots are a class act organization in the NFL. They're known for being a team to look at as an example, as a great team in the NFL to format your own organization around. And I think that from these allegations, there's like a lot of controversy surrounding them. So really the only negative is that controversy bringing like all the attention to them. But I don't think that they're guilty of anything. I think Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches to ever play or to coach in the NFL.
Right.
And Tom Brady, I believe, also would never do something like this. Deflating the balls, it really has been proven not to like have a big disadvantage.
Right.
And even a Colts player went out and said publicly that as far as he was concerned, LeGarrette Blount scored 3 times on the run. So even if they were playing with beach balls, he would have been scoring those touchdowns. So
yeah. A lot of people were weighing in on Twitter and on social media, especially other football players from the NFL that weren't necessarily in the game, but were watching from around the world. Well, thank you so much for joining us, JP. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
It was great, guys.
After this break, we will come back on a more serious note. Thank you for watching.
I'm Evan Pardo, and I play for the Neuqua Valley hockey team. We've got a lot of high expectations, but we can't take nights off. far this season, our hard work has definitely been paying off. Personally, I think this team can go all the way, and I think we can win state this year.
Welcome back to Sports in the Morning with a Cup of Joe. We have heavy hearts this week after learning of the passing of Ernie Banks. He was a true gentleman and a legend in the baseball community.
Yeah, terrible news, but we're joined by Matt Gould, who has agreed to come onto the show and talk a little bit about the legend with us. Thank you for joining us, Matt.
Thank you very much. Good to see you guys.
Tough weekend for baseball fans everywhere, as Ernie was truly an ambassador to the game and a standout player with over 500 home runs.
Oh yeah, he was a really good player back when he played. You know, I don't think that it's just a lasting impression on the Cubs organization. I think it's a lasting impression on baseball as a whole. People obviously, they know he's a famous guy, he's a well-known name.
Right.
The expression "let's play two" is thrown around all the time today because that's just what kind of a guy he was, and there wasn't a better guy for baseball than Ernie Banks. You know, we talk about his on-the-field accomplishments, the 500 home runs as a shortstop. Again, not something you see very often, but off the field, he's a great guy. Everyone loved to be around him. He's great in the clubhouse. You know, he's a little past all of our times, but definitely somebody that, whether you're an older generation person or our generation, you definitely know who Ernie Banks is and why he's important. And he's just, like you said, just such an ambassador of the game.
Yeah, he had some phenomenal numbers, but a lot of people, they look at him and they know that he was the first black player for the Cubs ever. I mean, that's a tough job paving the way for so many people to follow him. How brave do you believe Ernie Banks was to do what he did?
Well, obviously, to come into that situation, that's definitely not an easy thing to go and do. And obviously, with Jackie Robinson, a totally different scenario. But if you're going into anything where you're the first African American or first member of your race to ever do something, obviously that's going to be not an easy transition. You're going to have people that accept you along with people that reject you, and it's going to make just going and doing your job significantly harder than it would be. And he's just, for him to be able to do that and put up the numbers he did is such an outstanding accomplishment and something that not many people would have the heart to go in and do, and yet he was able to do it and do it with a smile on his face.
Yeah, he truly was a legend, and I don't think anybody will forget the name Ernie Banks for a long time. But staying on the topic of the Cubs here, Gould, how do you think the Cubs are going to do this year? How do you think their performance is going to? Do you think it's going to escalate from last year? Do you think it's going to stay about the same? Or I know they got a couple of acquisitions this summer. How do you think they're going to perform?
Well, last year, obviously, the Cubs, they struggled a little bit. That's been kind of the story of their franchise for the past couple of years. But actually, when they started to trade away some of their guys, everyone thought, oh, is this it for the year? Is this what they're going to do? And that's when they actually kind of started to take off as a team, and they started to do pretty well. And they led the league in home runs and down that stretch, and they really had some good pieces going. Yeah. So I think when you add guys like Lester and a solid outfielder like Dexter Fowler, who they've never had a solid outfielder.
Yeah.
They thought Alfonso Soriano would be that guy, and that didn't work out. But I think that the pieces they've added, in addition to what they were building off of last year, could lead them to a better season. I can't see them making the playoffs, but I can picture them being around 500, which for them would be a huge step forward.
Yeah.
Definitely. And
thank you for joining us this morning, Gould.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for joining us here at Sports in the Morning with a Cup of Joe. Have a great day.
And have a great Super Bowl weekend. Thank you.